Hello and welcome back to Hit or Glitch here at Second Star Gaming, local gaming shop that we have moved our filming to. I'm Tim.
I'm Scott.
I'm Alex.
I'm Daniel.
On this episode of GM's Corner, we will pick another question from the Tomo Topics and discuss it and find out what happens and how far we can go down any rabbit trail we may or may not find.
This week on.
Well, that works. I like my way better. Okay, when making a world map, what should you think of first? Towns or natural features?
So,
You have the most experience with world building.
I do.
That's an understatement.
So if you have an idea for a city and you know what needs to be there, that can be your starting point. But geography always informs what people build. So really geography is where you should start. Because if you have an idea for a mountain town, then you need mountains to put that town there. But if you're drawing your mountains and your rivers and whatnot, you have your geography there, you can start to look at your map and say, well, there's be a settlement here because there's fresh water. There should be a settlement here because there's probably minerals there or iron or what have you. And then you can start to, once you have your geography, you can start populating with people. And once you have that, then you can say, well, it's going to be this population center and this population center. You can have a rough idea of how much food is going to be available. And then once you have your where you're going to have your big metropolises, then you can start drawing your trade routes, your roads. And then along those, settlements are going to crop up a day's journey from each point, because people are going to naturally, as they're traveling along, they're going to stop, they're going to rest. Someone might decide, it'd be really nice to set up an inn, a tavern, or
A cabbage shop.
Yep. So you get these settlements cropping up that are just probably a few, those kind of road settlements are only probably going to be 6 to 8 buildings. There's not going to be a whole lot there, but it's something where the players don't have to sleep in the dirt. They can rest and water their horses, or whatever mounts they're using, and you haven't killed them yet.
We don't need all those. All the players will be dead before they get there.
But that's generally the way that I do it. And if you look at a map of the United States at night, you can basically see this in play through the Midwest. As you see, it's like a string of pearls along the interstates.
I-70.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And Route 66, that's now I-40.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yep.
And I think that's great advice if you're world building, like you're creating a whole world. I think if you're going to start a homebrew campaign, sometimes it's easier to start with the starting town, the closest major settlement, and fill in the geography between those two. And things like that area around that. And then as they travel, because not everyone has got the time to devote to making this whole world to have it all ready before the campaign.
True.
So if you're getting ready to start a campaign, you don't have the time to build the whole world. Build that starting area, maybe 100 miles from the starting town each direction. And then as they travel, well, now I know by next week I have to have this area filled out. And you can kind of expand it. And I do agree, though, that the geography, like you said, if you want a mountain town, start with a range of mountains. If you want, a town in a valley or in a plain, start with that. Build around that. But you can do it piecemeal like that.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about all the major cities and all the trade routes before you start playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you can also start it out with, just like you were talking about, whatever city you want to have. You want to have Minas Tirith, or you want to have Hobbiton, or whatever. You start off with that, and then you're like, okay, I know what it looks like. How does it feed itself? How do people make money? How do they get water, and like who travels through there? And that you can basically add the geography that supports that. So, they need fresh water, well, I'll just add in a river. And they need to have food, so obviously they have some farms nearby, or maybe they're, like cattle or something. You just keep. It's kind of the way they make
forage and hunt.
It's kind of the way they're making open world video games right now, is where they're like, I want a quest hub in this location, and then there's another one over there that'll be the second zone they go to, and then they're like, people started noticing, how do these people feed themselves, or how are they making money? Are they all just standing there all day? And so
yes, they are. They're NPCs. They stand there until the PC gets there to give them the quest.
Yep. So they've started to make the worlds a little bit more believable in some games now, where they're adding in, okay, here's some farms. That's how they get food. And occasionally they're even going so far as to making an actual sensical economy that's existing outside of the player's purview, or in addition to the player's effect.
Yeah, giving your place a lived-in feel is great for role playing, and also there's no easier way to drop red herrings than to have a bunch of stuff ready for them, or for them to glom onto something that you didn't think they would glom onto, and that becomes the line of the adventure from that point. I've had games where an NPC became beloved, and they became basically the hub of the adventure in a lot of ways. And then when I killed them, it devastated the players and drove the story in a different way. But it was great.
And another thing in world building, and this is advice from Matt Koval, check out his channel as well, is that you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Look at the old D&D modules, find a town you like, rename it, and use the bare bones of that town.
Yeah.
Grab a couple towns you like, boom, there's your first area. There's the mine over here that's a dungeon, and this town, and this is a cooperative storytelling and a social interaction game. So a lot of this stuff is online on the DM's Guild for purchase, some of it for free. And you can, even the creators will tell you, it's your world, make it what you want. Take these things and use it if it helps spark your creativity. And that's what this game is about, is sparking your creativity and your narrative ability and your imagination. So run with that. Yep. Anything else, guys?
I've only ever used Map Generator online once.
Yeah, there's that, and then Hexographer is another good program. There are a couple programs out there that will generate you a random map.
And then you just make up the story that supports it.
Yeah, and you can tweak it however you want. Matt Colville had 4 streams where he did this on his Twitch channel, and I've played with the idea of doing it as well because it looked like a hell of a lot of fun, and I liked what came out of it. And I did a smaller version at our table in the campaign we're running weekly when we play. But yeah, they built a world collaborative using Hexographer. He randomly generated the map, I think, 3 times, and on the 3rd time, there was a mountain range in the middle that caught his eye, and he only changed a few hexes on the map, and then it became, well, who lives here, and he was doing it with the stream, and he was taking ideas from the stream and naming things. So yeah, if you're not an artist, if you can't draw maps, that's a great way to do it.
Anyway, how do you build worlds? What ideas do you guys have? Do you use? What works for you? Let us know in the comments below. And if you have an idea for the Tomo topics, leave those as well. We'll put them in and hopefully answer your question soon.